Now let's create our first resource using Terraform. So we are going to be creating an EC2 instance with Terraform. Before you create a resource with Terraform, the key things which you must understand is the resource type and the given resource attributes Take a resource like the EC2 instance. For a resource like the EC2 instance, the resource type we have is AWS instance, as we saw in our Terraform registry. Now, what are the attributes of an EC2 instance? If you have an EC2 instance, this is the resource type and then the attributes. What are the attributes of an EC2 instance? For an EC2 instance, we have attributes like the Amazon machine image, the AMI. We have attributes like the instance type. We have attributes like the instance security group and a whole lot. You can also specify the instance key pair you want to attach and a whole lot. So all of these are different attributes for the EC2 instance. So if you are creating a resource, you must be conscious of the resource type and the attributes for that given resource. So we are going to be using Terraform to create our first resource, which is the EC2 instance with the given attributes, key pair, the AMI, instance type, and the instance security group. To get started, come to your desktop and create a new folder. So I'll be creating a new folder and you call the folder Terraform. Now, once you create this folder Terraform, you come to your VS Code, you open VS Code, Visual Studio Code. Now, once you open Visual Studio Code, you come to File, you come to Open Folder, and then you choose the Terraform folder which you created and you click on Open. Now, once you open the Terraform folder, we are going to be creating all of our resources in the Terraform folder. Once you have VS Code, you can type Terraform here and it will give you an extension for Terraform resources. So once you come here, you can look for the extension with the most downloads. So you have Terraform, Azure Terraform, and all other Terraform. So you look for the one with the most downloads and you install. So the first one, you have HashiCorp Terraform, syntax highlighting and auto completing for Terraform. So this is one plugin. I already have it installed. You can install if you don't have it installed. And once you install it, anytime you want to input a Terraform command, it will auto complete the Terraform commands. Once you do install, it's going to install Terraform. Now you come back to files. So once you come to get started, let's go ahead to create our various Terraform configuration files. So once you're in your folder, the folder which you open, you click on add new folder. Let's call it one, creating EC2. Now once you're in creating EC2 and it is highlighted, you click on add. You now create a main.tf. Now the .tf represents a Terraform configuration file. So we are saying that we want to create a Terraform configuration file. And once you do that, you hit enter. You now see we have an empty space where we can create a Terraform resource. For us to create our first resource EC2, we come to the Terraform registry, which we already saw in our previous module, Terraform registry. Now you search for AWS instance and the resource that we want to create is AWS instance. We are creating this AWS instance in Amazon Web Service. So the provider which we are using is Amazon Web Service, and they give you how you can make use of this provider. So if you click use provider, if you click on use provider here, it will show you how to use the provider in AWS. So for you now to use this provider in AWS, you copy this line of code, you copy this, and you come back to your main.terraform and you paste. Now you see that the provider which you're specifying is you want to use the provider which is AWS. Now, for you to use a provider, you must specify the region in which you want to create these resources. You must specify the region in which you want to create these resources. And once you've installed your Terraform extension, you type region and then you specify the region by using the equal sign. So you type region equal, you open the quotation. Now we come back to our AWS console. Let's go to EC2. Click on EC2. Once you click on EC2, you see we are in the region Oregon, US West 2. So for us to create this resource for us to create this instance in US West 2, we come here in our Terraform code and we specify the region US West 2. So we have specified that we are going to be creating this resource. You can put a space here. We have specified that we are going to be creating all of our resources in the region US West 2. Now, the next thing, we come back to our Terraform registry. What is the command usage to create an EC2? So they give you here that for you to create an EC2, this is the basic usage of the command. This is the basic usage of the command. Now, we want to start by creating an EC2 with the most basic set of arguments. So for you to create this with the most basic set of attributes or basic set of arguments, you copy this, copy, you come back to your main.terraform file and you paste. You can copy and paste like this, which is one option, or you can actually write down the attributes of this resource. So let's take the method of writing down. Now we want to create a resource. We are using the extension and the extension helps us to auto populate any given resource. Now, what is the resource that we want to create? We want to create an AWS underscore instance. So you see here, you click instance. So once you click resource, the resource I want to create an AWS instance. How do you want to call this instance? We want to call this instance test instance. Test instance. Now, what are the key attributes for an AWS instance? The key attributes we have the AMI, we have the instance type, the instance security group. And then if you want to tag, you can tag the instance. So we come back here. The key attributes that we need for an AWS instance is the AMI. So as you type AMI, they'll give you the possibility to input the AMI. The next thing we need is the instance type. You see, they already give you because you've chosen AWS instance. So you select instance type, you close the attributes. And for you to specify you want this instance to be called, you make use of tags. Now, when you type tags, once you specify that you want to provide tags, the tag equal, and then now you create a tag block. What name do you want to call this instance? What name do you want to call this instance? You specify all of that in a tag. So this basic step is the first step of you setting up your first instance. Now, assuming we're on an AWS console and wanted to create an EC2 instance, you click on create or launch instance. Now, when you click on launch instance, they ask you for the instance name, and this is the same thing which you have done in Terraform. If you were to launch this instance name will be test instance. And this test instance that we've put here on the console is the same test instance that we've put here in our Terraform. If you come back, for you to launch an Amazon Linux instance, you need to specify the instance. So let's take Amazon Linux 2. If you select Amazon Linux 2 in the Oregon region, if you select Amazon Linux 2 in the Oregon region, you see they give you the AMI. This is the AMI of the instance automatically because you're using the console, it automatically fits that in. But if you are to use code, you actually have to manually input the AMI. So for us to create an AMI, for us to create this Amazon Linux 2, they tell you that the AMI of this Amazon Linux 2 is this. So you just copy this AMI. You can either, once you select it, you come here and you copy it. You copy the AMI, copy it, and then you paste it in your AMI value. Now, the next thing, which instance type, if you were to create on the console, you select this. They'll ask which instance type do you want to create. So we have T2 micro, which is the same thing, instance type. So you can see copy this, the T2 micro and you paste here. Now, once you set that up for an EC2 instance, they tell you it is optional. That if you want to log in using a, if you actually want to log into this instance, you can configure the key pair. If you want to configure VPCs and subnets and auto assign public IPs and security groups that this instance will come, that this instance will have, those are further attributes. But we are ending with just the basic attributes, which is just the instance type and the instance AMI. Now, once you put those two values, you can tag the instance in advanced attributes. And for us to do the same, it's the same thing. You can tag the instance here, test instance. Now, once you do this, you have completely put the key attributes for the creation of this instance. Now, for you to create this instance in your environment, you click on terminal, you take new terminal. Once you take new terminal, the terminal is going to come and it's opening, it opens in the Terraform folder. So you need to do an ls. We have been creating our resources in the one folder. So we are going to cd into this one folder and then access our Terraform configuration files. So if you cd into that and you do an ls, you will now see we have a main.terraform file. Now, before you start running Terraform commands, you can still check if your Terraform is installed. And for you to check if Terraform is installed, you do Terraform version just to be sure that Terraform is installed. And you see I have Terraform version 1.7.4 just to be sure that Terraform works, or Terraform is installed. For me to create these stores, I'll start by the command terraform init to initialize and install Terraform plugins in this given repository. So I hit enter. Now Terraform, you see initializing the backend, initializing provider plugins, finding the latest version of Terraform, installing Terraform. So this is what Terraform, the command terraform init does. It initializes the backend, initializing the required Terraform plugins. Now, once your Terraform has been successfully initialized, you may now begin working with Terraform. Try running Terraform plan to see any changes that are required for your infrastructure. Because my system is unsafe, the moment you finish writing a Terraform command or Terraform installation file, you come to File and then you click Save. Mine is on auto save. That is why I don't need to save. But if you want to be saving, you can put either you put it on auto save or you take save. Now, once we have this, the next command which we are going to run is Terraform plan. Terraform plan helps us to see, like they mentioned, Terraform plan helps you to see if there are any changes in your infrastructure. So we do Terraform plan. Now, once you do Terraform plan, this is the output. Terraform uses selected providers, which was AWS, to generate the following execution plan. So it's going to create, Terraform will perform the following actions. It's going to create AWS instance, test instance will be created. And this is the AMI which is specified. Now, these are other attributes which we did not specify. The ARN and all of these. The ID, these are all attributes, some of the attributes that we did not specify. And then it's going to give the tag test all, and the user data, all of these, they are attributes which is not specified. So by the end of the plan, it says one, it says plan 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So let's clear. Now, for us to create these resources in our environment, we now use the command terraform apply. Once you do terraform apply, Terraform will actually provision these resources in the region which you specify, which is in US West 2. So if you come here, they ask, Terraform will perform the actions described above. Only yes will be accepted to approve. So for you to approve the creation of these resources, you take yes. And once you take yes, it shows you AWS instance, test instance creating. AWS test instance still creating. So once the creation is complete, you say apply complete. Resources 1 added, 0 change, 0 destroyed. For us to confirm that that is to instance be created, you come back to your AWS console and you now see instances running, you check instances running. That means instances that have been created. You now see we have one instance that has been created, and we do not create this instance on the console. So if you click on instances running, you now see we have the instance test instance. And if you check the AMI that this instance is made of, the instance AMI, this is the AMI which we specified. So this basically creates your first EC2 instance using Terraform. You don't need to come to the console to provision instances. The moment you do Terraform apply, it automatically creates the instance. So for us to delete this instance, which was created by Terraform, we make use of the command terraform destroy, and we hit enter. So the moment you hit terraform destroy, Terraform is going to ask, do you want to destroy this set of resources, or if it was a single resource, Terraform will require, do you want to destroy this resource? So it's pulling up the data for the resource. Now it shows plan 0 to add, 0 to change, 1 to destroy. Do you really want to destroy all resources? The moment you take yes, it's going to automatically terminate that instance in your environment. So you see instance test destroying, still destroying. So it's literally destroying the instance. So it shows you destroy complete, resources 1 destroyed. If you come back to your AWS console and you refresh, you now see that the instance test instance has been terminated automatically. So you've provisioned the creation and deletion of the EC2 instance using Terraform. Now you can close the terminal here. This is your first Terraform code. For you now to add comments to describe the resources that you created, you make use of the hashtag. So this is, you can now label this resource that is being created. So you can say this, or you can say below is the resource block to create EC2 instance. You can also label the one above. You can say below is the provider which helps in connecting with AWS account. So we have literally provisioned the first EC2 instance using Terraform. And you should also take note that after Terraform apply, a Terraform state file is being created, which gives you details of your infrastructure. And then you also have a Terraform backend, which is basically where the information about the EC2 or the resources that have been created by Terraform is stored. That does it for our first module, creating our EC2 instance.